Hey, what is up? It's Tim Thackeray here. Hope you're doing great. I wanted to dive in a little deeper on how to use this training and my training in general to help specifically masters athletes and ex-athletes that have done combative sports. A lot of people in Taekwondo, people in other combatives doing this. I try and use that as a general term because the idea applies the same. It's predicated on getting to train the 2019, you'll see it here, European Masters Games team. I'm training a bunch of people for the 2022 World Masters Games in Tokyo coming up. And people want to use the 5 kick domination sequence. If you haven't gone through that, I'll share my screen real quick. And I'll show you how we're using all of that here, the different training that me and Dr. Hahn put together to get your body ready and to understand a lot more about how we use strength and conditioning to leverage your own training to get you back into shape to compete. And here's the general premise, and it's happened many times. Competition is a great thing. We know that. We know that there's something about having a goal with a deadline, a plan, accountability, and a guide that we're always at our best with, right? That's good. When we were younger, that was a lot of our life, right? We had a plan, we had teammates, we knew the deadline, we couldn't push team trials or nationals back. That's when this was going to happen. States were on a certain day. You couldn't say, I wasn't quite ready. So sorry, can we do it in 2 more weeks? I promise I'll be ready. That made us be better. The difference is then our training was our life, right? Our lifestyle revolved around our training. Now it's not. As a master's athlete, as someone who's maybe an ex-athlete that is looking to get back in great shape, depending on where your level is. Now you have work, family, career, finances, years of miles on your body. We joke that some people treated their body like a temple, and I treated mine a lot like a rental car, right? Drive it as hard as I could, see what happened. That's good. You get a lot of miles out of it that way, but sometimes you end up with nagging injuries and whatnot. So what we see is that when we want to get back in shape, we want to do this stuff. There's actually 3 phases. And here's one of the stories that happened. I trained an athlete. She was a welterweight, and she trained at a pretty well-known Taekwondo team with Poo's Taekwondo. She's a welterweight, really good fighter, and gained some weight. Like a lot of people do, we wreck our metabolism by cutting weight for so long, gaining. I never say losing weight because no one in Taekwondo ever lost weight. You always found it, right? We always found that way after weigh-ins. So you didn't lose anything, right? Over time, our metabolism is wrecked. Right, our body's starting to not process carbs like we did when we trained 6 hours a day. Cortisol spiked through the roof. When cortisol's up and carbs are in there that we're not using, that gets stored as fat. That spikes us up, crashes us down. Our sleep is bad. That whole cycle really gets out of the way. When sleep is bad, that spikes our cortisol more of a stress response. We end up in a place where we start to try and do training, and now we can't recover from it. So what happened to her was she thought, well, when I was in my best, I was kicking a lot and I was competing. So I should start kicking again like I did back then. And what happens? Well, when you have an 80-pound weight vest, what happens to your ACL? Pop, right? Well, now you're in a better or worse spot. You're in a worse spot there. So there's 3 phases to getting back in shape. And this goes for people wanting to go to the World Masters Games. It goes for people wanting to just go do a Tough Mudder and crush it and be a good example for your family. The principles are the same. That's why it's a custom program, ideally. These are the ideas in the 5 kick domination sequence. These are the ideas of the content we put out. But we know everything else. You can give a kid the concept of math. If you don't train them specifically, they won't understand how to do it. It's the same thing here. It's why when we were at our best, we had a plan with a guide and accountability. And that's what I do. So I'm going to break down. I'm going to share my screen again here and go over this guide for you for the 5 kick domination sequence that goes with it here. The Masters Games 3-phase domination plan. And it goes with everything, okay? What are these 3 phases? What are the 4 pillars that we built this on? All right, the idea is there's 3 phases to your progression. It's built on 4 pillars, right? Training, recovery, nutrition, and mindset. Support your journey at each stage, right? In each phase, we're leaning on those in different ways, right? So that doesn't mean day 1 is training hard, day 1 is full nutrition. Different parts have to build the base to support a high peak, whatever that peak is like for you. And again, I'm using the Masters Games as the example. Doesn't mean you have to have this as your goal. I think it'll just be an easy frame of reference to talk about. Okay, some stuff you'll have this in the course, so go ahead and read through it. The current landscape, like I said, you try and do the old way. That's what my athlete from Poos did. I'm going to go back. I'm going to train. I'm going to hit it hard. Well, what happens? You get popped, you get injured, right? You get frustrated. You get apathetic. You're not making the gains you want, or you want to get started and you have no idea where to go. Or your body's injured, and now you have to have training that supports your life, right? As fun as the World Masters Games is, taking care of your family is more important now. It wasn't like when I was younger and I broke up with a girl because I lost a fight when I was 23. Yeah, it happened because my number one focus was fighting. My number two focus was fighting. Number three was fighting. There was no other plan. And now I can't really do that to my wife and my two daughters. That'd be a pretty jerk thing to do. The three phases, we call them transformation, going from where you're at now and getting your body and mind ready for the journey, using the training here, using the other parts that you need to get ready. Number two is progression. Once I've got you ready, I've got the habits, skills, mindsets, beliefs, and routines you need to succeed. I've transformed your body. I've got the weight vest off. Well, now we can start training a little more, right? So in this phase, the pillar of training becomes stronger. We're beginning. It's about getting your metabolism and your testosterone and your hormones balanced. And finally, as we get ready for the competition, ready for your event, ready for your goal, it is optimization. How do I put the finishing touches on what you need? Those four pillars: mindset and habits, recovery and prevention, right? We can only train as hard as we can recover from, nutrition and metabolism and hormones, right? And then finally, performance training. Those are the four parts. The old way again. Your life supported your training. Now your training must support your life. I can't crush you so hard that you're like, I can't live, I can't do anything, right? This is where we go through it. It's predicated on a big goal. For a lot of people, it may be the World Masters Games. For some people, it may be able to run with your daughter again. That's a big one for me. I want to be in shape. I can snowboard with my kids for years to come. That's a big, long goal, but I have yearly goals I'm trying to hit every year, right? And that goal is not wearing a sauna suit. That's what 18-year-olds do. We're smarter than that now. Where the start of your journey is a process that is based on individuals, that bridges a gap of theory and knowledge, application and distance. So you can do this anywhere in the world. The performance benefits, I want to have lower overall training load for you. Coming into doing the 5 kick training sequence, coming in to do the other stuff we're starting is not the answer because we can't recover from it. So all the info we're giving you here, if you're like, I'm going to go do it every day, that is good intentions put in a bad format, right? Because we can't recover from it. It needs to adjust as you progress. It needs to build towards your goal. And again, for some people, it is that Masters Games, but that is not the goal. What is the goal? What starts on your assessment based on balance and based on your goal. Where you start, what you need, where your body's currently at, and what the end point is. That gives us a trajectory. That's different if we're driving from LA to San Francisco versus New York to Miami. Those are different routes based on our starting point, based on the roadmap, and based on the end point. Okay, we go through all of that. We work on mobility, injury prevention. You see that in the 5 kick. Now it is custom designed to you. So we're not trying to get a square peg to fit in a round hole, right? Nutrition and fueling. Where this goes, your body is different now, right? I used to be able to eat hundreds of grams of carbs every day because I was training 6 hours a day. I needed the fuel. But now if I'm at a computer like everyone else here, right? I got my war room, got my keyboard and my trackpad. So that is what's happening here right now. Okay, we're working on that. So I can't be just crushing carbs. Carbs are not the enemy, but also eating copious amounts. If my metabolism is slowed down, cortisol and stress is high, sleep is poor, that's not the answer. There's a different answer to this. So we have to figure out for you what works, how to rebuild that, how to get your hormones to produce the right signals. So when you do strength training, you do resistance training, your body gets the gain from it. All right. Post-workout fueling, how do we recover from our training? What that training is, what the base of support is, how to get the right force production for your goal, how to work on the right energy systems. And that is obviously tying together your assessment, your mobility, your corrective, your nutrition all together. That's what gives us more output in less time, not the opposite of like, let's do a bunch of stuff. It can be inefficient because you have all the time in the world. Now I bet you don't. Mindset starts off with the beliefs we need to get where we want to go. It should de-stress us. It should give us confidence in this overall frame, right? When mindset is right, our body can start to burn fat. And you see us here. This is at Stephen Lambden's 2016 Olympic prep camp. Yeah, we're in it. We're there. Our body, everything, we built everything around making this right so our bodies would adapt. And yeah, that's the goal, is get your body to do it like we want. And then finally, accountability, checking in, making sure you're not drifting, right? When you were at your best again, you had that goal, plan, timeline, and guide, and accountability. You weren't just training in a room that no one knew about, okay? That's how we put it all together. This is how we do this. You can do it from trial and error. We've probably done that before. We did that even when we were at our best, when we were younger. There was a lot of trial and error for us. I do that for you here in the 5 Kick. I give you the pieces. I want to show you how I put that and hundreds of pieces more together for you. So if you're interested, grab the course, shoot me an email, and just send me a message that says 2022, and we'll get rocking on that. Okay, I can't wait to do it. We have some testimonials from Stephen Lambden, from Damian Villa, some world-class athletes I've worked with around the world, in addition to the World Masters team, in addition to the European Masters Games, in addition to the 4 World Poomsae Masters Championships. I've helped win gold medals for 4 World Poomsae gold medals at their championships. So I have a long track record in doing this. I'm excited to show you exactly how I do that. So if you don't take it from me, it's backwards his other hand. Take it from these guys. They rocked. See you around, see how they're doing. And I'd love to help you reach some really big goals here and do some things that we know you're still capable, because there's more in the tank. As we say around here, you are never done. Let me know. Drop me a comment. Shoot me a message. Let's crush it.